Ladies and gentlemen, this is Justin from the Tree of Woe Show, and this is the date is the February 18th, 2013 Monday Night Raw review, night after the Elimination Chamber. Let's get right into it. The show starts off with John Cena coming out to the ring, obviously hyping what we like to call WrestleMania. You know how that goes. Um, so yeah, he comes out. He's like, "Oh, I'm in here. I won the Royal Rumble a couple weeks ago and stuff, and I'm gonna fight everybody." And then CM Punk comes out, and I'm like, "Ooh, this is gonna be interesting, if nothing else." Why is there not a? But yeah. So then Punk comes out, and he's like, "Listen, you did not do anything to earn this title match. You entered it. He really entered at 19. Punk's like, you entered at like 25, 26, threw a couple of ham and eggers over the top rope, and you think that earned you a shot at the title. You have never beat me." And then it gets into a point where Cena's like, "You're right. I've never beat you, and I want to prove that, to the world that I can do that. So how about right here, right now, we have a match to where if I win, you just, shut up and do whatever. And if you win, I'll give you my main event shot at WrestleMania." And I'm like, there goes the chance of seeing The Undertaker tonight. Um, and then Punk's like, "Okay, I agree, but not tonight. We'll do it on my terms. We'll do it next week." Dallas, Texas. Undertaker. But yeah, so we already have our main event for next week's Raw. We got Cena versus Punk for the chance to face The Rock at WrestleMania. So we'll see how that goes. This was an interesting segment, if nonetheless. It kind of killed, because I'll be honest, I was like, maybe we get The Undertaker tonight. I just want to see The Undertaker. I just want to see Punk Taker. Like, that's all I want. So like, it killed that for me. So that's why I was like, ah, damn it. But whatever. Then we get mismatch of the night, Mark Henry versus Sin Cara. Mark Henry lays the hammer on Sin Cara, as he should. Gets the win with the World's Strongest Slam. Goes to attack him after the match when the Great Khali's music hits. He rumbles, stumbles down to the ring. And Mark Henry's like, "You want some? Come on." And then right when he gets in the ring, Mark Henry dips out, and he's just making fun of the Khali, doing his little dance moves. Love it. Mark Henry is the man. Then we get Miz versus Cesaro, a rematch from last night, playing into the whole disqualification angle. This match was no disqualification. It was a pretty good match. I really liked the way the match was going. It felt like it was just getting to the point where I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good match. And then they cut it off and ended it when the Miz makes Cesaro tap out to the figure four. The Miz should never be doing the figure four. It looked god awful. Oh, I didn't like it one bit, but so this was my disappointment of the night almost, because it was like this match was just getting to the point where I was thinking, man, this is a pretty good match. We get Hell No backstage arguing like usual what they go through now. Daniel Bryan talking about how he wanted a hug last night, and instead he got an uppercut to the chin. And they basically said they both have singles matches tonight, and they don't want the other person to come out. Then it was Vicky and Heyman. Vicky basically said, "Hey, I have an announcement for you later." I don't know why I'm doing almost Booker T voice for Vicky. But yeah, she's like, I have an announcement that's going to shock your world later tonight. So we would get that. Then we get a match. Dang. Dolph Ziggler versus Alberto Del Rio. It was a pretty good match. Del Rio gets the win. No surprise there. It's he's the world heavyweight champion. It's just what's going to happen. Dolph taps out. But then after the match, Big E Langston comes in and beats the hell out of Del Rio, and I'm thinking, cash that in. I feel like it was engraved in the back of my head. They have the Swagger Del Rio storyline. This isn't going to work, this cash in. But I wanted to make myself believe. But Ricardo takes the briefcase and dishes out. He's running. Big E runs after him. AJ runs out, retrieves the briefcase, runs back. But at that time, Del Rio had recovered and he kicked Dolph in the head. No cash in. But hey, I like failed cash ins. I feel like his whole Money in the Bank run, there haven't been any times where they even made you question it. And that's the thing I like most about the Money in the Bank, is the moments where you're like, oh shit, is this happening? And it doesn't, it doesn't happen, but at least it gives you the thought in your mind. So that's what I liked about this segment, even though it didn't work. One of the more confusing segments, Wade Barrett talking about how he's going to take Hollywood by storm because he has a role in this new movie, and he comes out to show the trailer, And then afterwards, we all realized he wasn't in the trailer. And then Sheamus randomly shows up on the Titantron and says, "You are not the main character, fella." And then he goes, "We're out of time." And then it just ends. And I just went, huh, this made sense. Speaking of making sense, this really does make sense. The tag team of Brodus Clay and Tensai, I'm totally down with these guys. I don't care what any of you say. I love this because, the serious monster Tensai was not working. So, anything to change it up. And I think it's funny how he's talking about how the tattoos on his head, the writings, it could be a sushi menu. I don't know. But there was a 6-person match. Naomi was their partner, and then it was Primo Epico and Rosa. Tensai and Brodus' team end up getting the win, which I was cool with because it's the freaking Primo and Epico team. Like, what? Come on now. But it was all right. Nothing, it was there. It's whatever. It's entertaining, I guess. Then we get, speaking of entertaining, then we get Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter. I love new Jack Swagger because Zeb Coulter just stands there and he's like, "We hate people that come across all borders." And I'm just sitting there like, they can't say this. And that's what I want. I want to sit there and say, man, this was, episode 1 of a long road to WrestleMania, and I'm excited to see it. But he was a really good promo by your boy Zeb, but I just thought it was hilarious. And then we got Swagger versus Bryan, and raise your hand if a year ago or 6 months ago I said there's going to be a match on Monday Night Raw, Daniel Bryan versus Jack Swagger, and you're going to understand in your head that Daniel Bryan has no chance of winning Jack Swagger. That's what tonight was. And I was sitting there like, wow, this build happened real fast. But I was cool with it. Jack Swagger gets the win. It was all right. Then we get the announcement by Vicky. Vicky and Heyman are in the ring, and they're talking about, hey, I have a new, assistant or whatever, and it's the Maddox. Bradley Maddox. And he comes out, and he's just like, yeah, I'm the new guy. And I'm like, that's the Maddox right there. That's the Maddox. And then Paul Heyman's like, he doesn't care. He's like, whatever. So and then Vince McMahon appears on the Titantron, and he basically said, hey, I could fire you, but I'm not going to. I'm going to walk down my crutches next week and fight you. So next week it'll be Vince McMahon versus Paul Heyman. I have a sneaky feeling that next week we get the first installment of Barack God 2. I'm excited to see God next week. The debut of short-haired God. Then we get a 6-man match. This match came about because Sheamus and Ryback were arguing backstage. Jericho came in and was like, listen, let me be the third member of your team. I'll talk to Vicky. I'll get a match set up against the Shield. The match happened. It was those three against the Shield. In a pretty good match. There was a lot of good action in this. I enjoyed this match. I really like the Shield, so I'm always going to like stuff they're doing. The Shield ends up winning this match again. I'm thinking, it's probably going to be that thing where the next night, get their revenge. No. The Shield won. They got the pin on Jericho. The Shield for days. I just want to see what they have planned for the Shield. I don't even care. This is awesome. Keep having them win. I love it, love it, love it. Didn't love this as much. Well, I loved it for a minute. Kofi versus Sandow was supposed to happen. Sandow came out and cut a promo. The match ended up not happening. He attacked Kofi before the bell could ring. He was beating him down like crazy. R-Truth ends up coming out, makes the save. And that was all. So I don't know. Then we get Randy Orton versus Kane because Randy Orton called Kane a Barney. He called him Barney the dinosaur earlier, and Kane said no. So we got Orton versus Kane. The match was Kane ended up getting the upper hand here in the match, and then Daniel Bryan, against Kane's wishes, moseys on way down, distracted Kane, RKO out of nowhere. Love it. So Orton gets the win here. Thank you. And then we get to the main event of the evening, the Rock's championship celebration. The Louisiana Lafayette marching band was down there. Just they're just hammering it down, and they all stand off to the side. And the Rock's music comes out, and they're playing the theme on the drums. Rock comes out, he's just rolling out here, just saying, "Hey, we out here, we're holding the belt." So, he comes out and he's talking about how he won last night and how he beat Punk twice, and he spit in his face last night, which is bullshit. But So he comes out and there's a little table, and I'm like, no, that's not. It was. He's talking about how the WWE title should not look like a toy. This looks like a toy. I'll be honest. It is a toy. It was at Walmart, but he starts talking. I was like, oh man. And he goes and he gives it to the guy. And he's like, make sure it gets to the Hall of Fame. You get at it. And I was like, oh, Rock, you slide. He unveils the new belt, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it was bigger. It looked freaking huge. The big W. Champ has the two Brahma Bulls on the side. People are obviously going to, people hate change, it seems like. So people are, the new belt sucks. Like, automatically it's going to suck. Like, even if it was the coolest looking thing of all time, it's going to suck because it's different. So, I wasn't even looking on Twitter. I saw like one tweet and some chick's like, I like it. I said, yes, positive attitudes. I like her. So I retweeted it. And then I saw like a couple people, it's stupid. And I'm like, well, of course it's stupid. Doesn't matter what it was going to look like. It was going to be the dumbest thing ever. So I wasn't really too concerned about that. I like to form my own opinions, not just think everything sucks because it's different. So I'm not in love with it, but it's better than this. Like, if you think, like, I'm all for everyone to have their own opinion, but if you think that the new one is worse than this, I can't help you. I don't know what to say, because I'm not like in love with it. I'm not like, oh, it's so sick, but I'm completely happy with it. Like, I'm cool with it. Rock put it up there, and I was like, okay, that looks a lot better than this. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on it. Not head over heels in love with it. It'll take some getting used to, but I'm not going to automatically hate it because it's different. You know what I mean? And then he starts talking about who he's going to face at WrestleMania. He's like, for personal and professional reasons, the man that brings out the best of me, I want to face. And then John Cena's music hits. He walks out. The Rock's kind of getting ready to stare down, like, okay. Before Cena can say or do anything, CM Punk hits him in the back with the old WWE title, throws the belt, past Cena, and just kind of has to stare at the Rock. The Rock's moving around. Punk turns around, walks away. Kind of an anticlimactic ending to the show. I didn't really like it, because it had this big build, like, oh, Cena's coming out. There's going to be a confrontation. Like, whether you want to see Rock Cena or not, I was like, okay, it'll be a confrontation. It's going to be cool to see where a year later the feud's going to be different, I hope. So I was excited to see where it was going to go. And then Punk came out, and then nothing happened with Punk, and it was just kind of anticlimactic. It just ended. The crowd was just sitting there. So I don't know how to take this. I don't know whether to take this as they're heading towards the triple threat match for the title between these three at Mania, which would mean maybe Taker's not ready, and that makes me sad, and I don't know if I really want to see the triple threat. I guess I'd rather see the triple threat more than Rock Cena, but I'd rather see Punk Taker along with Rock Cena than no Taker at all, obviously. So I don't know if it's that, or if it's the fact that they want to get CM Punk, and they wanted to get CM Punk out there just so it didn't look obvious that Cena's going to win next week, if that makes sense. So I don't know how to take it, but it's probably one of those two things. I hope it's the second one, because I really want to see the Undertaker, man, because I'm going to WrestleMania. I don't care what y'all say. But like I said, just kind of an anticlimactic end to the show. So, But yeah, that was Raw this week. So subscribe down below to the Tree of Woe Show. Like this video. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the new WWE title, what you thought of Raw in general. Subscribe to Nick Met too. Still trying to get to that 100 subscribers for him. And, Cena sucks. It's just what it is. I only tell the truth, you know what I mean? But, so, that was it. We'll see you later. Send in questions for Q&A. We'll get another one of those up this week. Good night, everybody. Da, 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 da.